Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special Generation 1 figure collection and showcase, we're going to be looking at the one and the only Generation 1 Megatron figure. Now, I've got to confess, since I started this channel 5.5 years ago, this is probably one of my most requested videos, so apologies that it is taking me so long. I just haven't had the space, so you'll have to excuse the surroundings. I have had to commandeer the kitchen table to be able to get all of these out. So before we get started, I'd like to remind anybody else who's not subscribed to the channel, if I'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. And what I'm going to be showing you is basically Megatron, I suppose, how he was released and how, he came about during his Generation 1 releases in different countries throughout the first few years of the Transformers. Obviously, quick disclaimer, this isn't every single variant of Megatron. I'm sure there's probably quite a few out there that I haven't got, and I'm sure there's quite a few other people who've got more than what I've got as well. As I say, this is just what I've got. I'm going to put the camera on the tripod. I'm going to show you Japanese variants. I'm going to show you different packaging. I'm going to show you the difference between the TM and the register, the regular boxes, and I'm going to be showing you this particular guy here that's not even on TF Wiki, but I've got a boxed and a loose example of him. This is the Dark Chrome Transitional Megatron. We've got the Japanese one. I'll show you the entire contents of the unused Goodbye Convoy set, including the poster and the other brilliant things that you could do with Megatron and his accessories, exactly like that. Right, let me get this phone on the tripod and let's get started. Okay then, so let's start off with having a quick look at a couple of loose figures, and this one is probably one of the ones that took me one of the longest to track down. Now, maybe this might not come across as great in the video on this due to the lighting, etc., but the reason why this one is, I'm probably one of the most proudest of hunting it down, is because, ironically enough, guys, and you can check this in TF Wiki, this, for some reason, it is not even noted in TF Wiki. So this is your Dark Chrome Megatron. So this is the sort of first Megatron during his transitional phase from, of course, we know that Megatron was not always a Transformer. He was from the Micro Change line in Japan by Takara. And of course, we all know what his original alternate mode is because it's behind us. And that's why there's so much, I suppose, controversy around him. Now, most people who know sort of Transformers and maybe know their variants, they know that Optimus Prime has got transitional pieces as well, including the metal plates inside the cab and including, light blue parts. Megatron's transitional, as I say, is this dark chrome. Now, I'm lucky enough to have a boxed example and a loose one. So hopefully now when I put these side by side, you can tell that this one here, the chrome, is much, much darker than the standard silver. Now, again, you probably wouldn't even notice this. It might even be something to be aware of, obviously. And most people don't really realise until they see it in hand, I suppose, just how different it is. And there's not many of these. This is, again, your sort of first sort of runs. They're only available in TM boxes, which I'm going to show you in a second. So, yeah, there's not loads and loads of quantities of this. If you pick a Megatron up anywhere or see them in a box, especially if it's an R box, guaranteed it's going to be this normal sort of silver colour. So I haven't put the stickers on this. He was unused, and one of the main reasons for that is exactly that. So you can just see how much darker he is. Now, unfortunately, the Megatron, if we have a look at some things to be aware of if you're after one for yourself, they do have loose joints, which you can see is probably one of the biggest problems with most Generation 1 Megatron figures, to be honest. Also, these are very, very flimsy inside the arms. I've seen countless numbers of broken Generation 1 Megatrons. I also want to point out, and I'm pretty sure you've noticed already, that you can, and I love to do that with my original toy, put the scope at the back, because of course that is how he was in the cartoon, and it is possible without breaking your figure. You can actually do that. So but again, do it extremely carefully. I don't take responsibility for anybody trying to do it and breaking your figure. You shouldn't though, but you definitely can. Now, I've also not got his arm cannon on, because again, this is perhaps something that some people didn't even realize either. You could use his accessories to make your own toys as well. So you can see there, I've got all of his accessories, and ironically enough, I've gone with Action Master Megatron controlling and being in charge of this. So you could actually put an action figure on it, which was great. He could actually hold it as well. I've got to stop saying that word. And yeah, you could use it, and it just made even more fun, even more play factor value to these particular figures. The Japanese variant, though, was, I suppose, more interesting, and unfortunately I don't have a box for him. I do have the Goodbye Megatron, which we'll have a look at in a second. This was the gunmetal grey. He didn't come at all with an arm cannon because he came with a sort of giant sword, which I'm going to show you in a second. So yeah, it's not even there. The attachment, which you can see here, is not even there. If I take this one off, them little parts you've just seen there, of course, we're all very, very used to seeing Megatron with the arm cannon, but it was completely not there or not even used. I think the only time it was used was much later on in the reissues. We'll have a look, as I say, inside the Goodbye set in a second. So there were three, well, there's four colours actually. So we've got dark chrome with the red inside legs, normal chrome with the red inside legs, standard Megatron, D16 of course was his Japanese name, hence his name in the movie, had gunmetal grey with the blue inside legs, and in the Goodbye Megatron set it was gunmetal grey with the red. I'll do my best to show you that during with the set, but I don't want to take him out because it'll snap that bit of polystyrene. Inside the packaging though, this is what the sticker sheet looked like. And again, I haven't stickered them up because I've had really bad luck with trying to sticker figures up. They also came with things like this, Lumibots, all that sort of stuff, special offer for the watches. And this I think is probably the most missing piece inside any Megatron figure. The instructions, again, because of how early the release was, were in full colour. This is, I believe, I think this is, no, it's not the English one. It could be, I was going to say, this is one of the posters from a later one because it's got some of the 85 figures. I'm going to open up this one to show you then. So this is the dark chrome. So this is your first release Megatron figure. So you've got TM above the S because of course it wasn't a registered trademark. And exactly that, it's a TM box. So if we spin it around to the back, we've got the 84 battle scene there. I'm going to just whip through pretty much most of these boxes, not showing you all of them for obvious reasons because some of them are the same. I just want to show you if there is anything different to point out. So hopefully you can tell when I carefully slide this out just how dark that chrome is, maybe even compared to the ones behind it. So that's more of the first type of catalogue which we are used to seeing, which you can see, and once again there's another sticker sheet there. There are all the accessories, and that is how he came packaged. So that was one of the first, and this was sold in America. There you go, there's your Toys R Us price sticker on the side, $19.97. If only they were that price nowadays, eh? Right, moving on. I suppose this one is a TM box, and this one, is this my test piece? Let me have a quick look. No, so I think this one, if we spin around to the back, this is your standard Hasbro one. So this again is a normal Hasbro. So the first one we had was the first run of the transitional piece of Megatron, the dark chrome. This is your normal lighter chrome Megatron, again in a TM box. So the TM box usually will signify, as I say, that it's a first run figure, and they don't really have the rub signs on them either. Some TM boxes, the figures were that early in production that they didn't have the rub signs. Ironically enough, there is another way that you can use some of Megatron's accessories. You can see that attached to the underside of him right there. Right, somebody, and I've seen a few videos saying that Megatron was really difficult to get in the UK. I suppose one of these videos is to quell that, or to quench that rumour that simply just wasn't true. This is a Seijay, is it the Seijay 4 language? Yes, so this is the Seijay 4 language box. So Seijay was the company making Transformers in, obviously in Europe for us, and then they've got, that's why you've got all the different languages. And again, this came out in 1984-85 because it's still got the TM on the box. We've got the rub sign now, so we know it's a teeny bit later. And yeah, we've got all of the languages going across the bottom right there. I'm going to come to the Goodbye Convoy probably last, to be fair, because it is one of the latest releases in about 1986. This is a Seijay 4-language test piece from Hasbro. I very luckily managed to pick this up. One of my more recent pickups, shall we say. It's got a teeny bit of sun damage on the back, but again, just to confirm that we do have Hasbro in the UK. There we go. There is your Seijay sample sticker on the back. Now, I can't find any difference in the toy whatsoever, but for obvious reasons, I haven't really got it out and had to play around with it. But this is your Seijay 4 language, and again, TM box, so this will be no rub sign. So again, we're back to pre-rub, about 84. let's move down to this one. This was the other one we were able to get in the UK. This is your MB boxed. So of course that is still Milton Bradley, still going, you know, Connect 4, whatever other games I can think off the top of my head that they do make. Milton Bradley, and again, pre-rub with the TM on the box. And again, your 4 languages for Europe. So yeah, Megatron was that again. If you're after a G1 Megatron, eBay UK, there's as you can see an abundance of them. Really, there's quite a lot, shall we say. We were very lucky over here with the fact that we could get them direct, etc. Right, this one's an interesting one. This one's the Canadian box. So obviously we've got the different language, but also with this one, for those of you who are unaware, there's an error to every single Canadian box that I've seen, and the glaring error is there, Autobot Megatron, which of course definitely not. And there you've got your different languages as well, and a much bigger tech spec. It's on most people who saw this, maybe in, you know, secondary market now, you might look at this and think perhaps that would be a KO. Due to the size of the tech spec, due to the fact it says Autobot Megatron on the top, etc., you would be forgiven to think perhaps that it could be a KO, but obviously it is not. Right, let's move on. This, ironically enough, my worst conditioned one is a standard Hasbro. So a standard Hasbro one. And again, you can tell it says on the underside of the tech spec where it was all made. This is my standard Hasbro one. Let me have a look if there's anything any different in here. I don't think there is. This one's got the other mail away form that came with it. If you remember the reinforcements, that's the used sticker sheet. And yes, there of course are your Omnibots and things like that. Now, unfortunately, again, if you did live in the UK, you'll remember that we had all these mail away things, and they just, we weren't eligible for them, as silly as it sounds. I don't know if you know that, rest of the world, the mail aways, we were not eligible in the UK for them at all. Right, last 3, there's one either side. This one, which one's this? This is a standard. Let me see. I've got too many, as I say. I tried to get as many different ones. This is the Strasbourg one. There we go. So this is the Strasbourg one. You can see underneath there. Again, made made in Strasbourg, and then France by Seiji Revel. So another variant that we could have got in the UK. And as a kid, most of my figures, to be fair, had the Seiji logo or the Seiji place on the back. Very luckily as well, this is the first official reissue of G1 Megatron. This is the Chinese reissue. So we had the gold boxes in the UK. I'm sure you've seen gold box figures, mainly Autobot cars, mainly Combiner limbs, and maybe a few, as I say, others with this particular little logo there on the top corner. Not only did they have that, what they did, they shortened the copyright on the back, which you can see there. The copyright is much shorter, and in some cases you will find a Chinese language sticker on. So just to reiterate to people, Chinese reissues are official. They were legit. They were literally that. They were the first reissues. Now the KOs are something completely different. The Chinese reissues are totally legit. Right, moving on to this. This came out in 1986 in Japan, and the clue is in the title, Goodbye Megatron. Basically, they didn't have the movie in Japan in 1986, but they needed to sort of get rid of Megatron and obviously bring Galvatron, etc. in to the toy line. So I didn't get the movie till 89. You can obviously correct me on that if you want to. That side is still sealed. This side is open. It is an unused set, so I'm going to be very tentative with this. So apologies if I'm not going to get the Megatron out, and absolutely no way am I going to be transforming him. I think I might try and find a loose one with the red inside, but I'm sure you can imagine that that is not the easiest thing to find. So Japanese boxes for a start are beautiful. And oh, they added it on. They did add it on for this set. I wasn't too sure. What I was curious about is the arm scope. So they did add it on to this. Right, this hasn't been taken out. Dare I do it? Let me see if I can get this out just to show you on the inside. I might be able to. Yes, I can. Don't snap the polystyrene. I think it's, oh no, it's not, it's going to damage that. Oh no, I've got it. Right, so on the inside of the legs, you can see, as I say, I'm not going to be transforming him. Hopefully you can see through there that is red on the inside, whereas I say the standard Megatron, the mainline Megatron, had the blue inside with the gunmetal grey. The Goodbye Megatron obviously had this bit added to his arm, and he had the red in the leg, and of course he's got the rub sign on the sides. Now the other thing that I was referring to is D16 came with this giant sword, absolutely giant sword, and that's just how he was packaged with pellets. I think I've got the pellets actually. Yeah, there you go. He's going to hold that. Is it going to stay in focus? Probably not. Again, not the most ideal review station. I just need a bigger space, to be honest. But that's your G1 Megatron. That is how he was sold, with that sword like that, which is huge. It's beautiful. The chrome in it is stunning. And let's have a quick look at some of the other stuff that came in with it. And I'm going to show you the poster in a second as well. So is that, nope, there's no bullets in there. There's no bullets in there. There's unused stickers. And there's just, funnily enough, guys, if you're interested in things like this, all the paraphernalia, the Japanese flyers, there's a full playlist on this channel of all of the, basically of them, all of the flyers, all of the playlists, all of the flyers and all of the mail away things that were available at the particular time. I'm going to put that very carefully there and just round this video off now, because I'm going to put everything back nice and safely. This is the Goodbye Convoy poster, which in its own right is just beautiful. And just the poster by itself commands insane amount of money on websites and Japanese things. Let me pull this back out. Again, excuse the kitchen background. There you go, guys. That is the Destron Heroes. All of your Decepticons from 84 up to 86, I believe. Yep, there you go. That is the poster from the Goodbye Convoy set. I hope you enjoyed the video. As I say, Megatron was clearly available in lots of ways in the UK. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.